Just trying to.
Okay, I would like to call to order the Village of Lansing Planning Board meeting for Tuesday, February 24th, 2026, to order at 7:01 PM. Early. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. And we've got two sets in here, February 9th we'll start with. Did anyone have any changes? I got from Lorraine and Natalie.
Just, yeah, I did not have any additional changes.
Okay. If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the February 9th, 2026 minutes.
I move we approve the February 9th, 2026 minutes.
Motion by Lisa,
Second.
second by Lorraine, all in favor. Right. And then the next set, January 12th, 2026 minutes. Any further amendments?
Change date.
Yeah. To 2026. Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the January 12th, 2026 minutes.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Lorraine,
No second.
second by Jim, all in favor. Okay, next item on the agenda is the public comment period. This is an opportunity for anyone, Ronnie's here too, anyone from the public to bring up anything that's not already on the agenda this evening.
Susan Ainsley, covering for the Board of Trustees.
Hey, Susan.
Hi there, everyone.
This is Carla Marceau. I'm here as an observer for the community party.
Hey, Carla. I also just realized you all can't see us that good, so here, we'll fix that. So you can really, really see us all up here.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Oops, wrong way. There you go. That part's
That's
better.
good, Mike.
There you
Perfect.
go, look at that. Okay, now you can see us all.
Thank you.
Okay, hearing no other public comments, I'll entertain a motion to close the public comment period.
Move to close this public comment period.
Motion by Lisa,
Second.
second by Lorraine, all in favor? Right. Okay, and the next item on the agenda is to continue the public hearing for special permit number 2026-4921. Chris Fiallo, Senior Vice President, Development for Unisys Development Corporation, is proposing to demo the existing structure and construct a Chipotle restaurant at 11 Graham Road West. Tax parcel number 47.1-1-17.13. Mike, take it away.
After the last meeting, as I said, I spoke to John Courtney about some of his reactions on his suggestions. I did ask him what he preferred as far as the sidewalk line, which road, whether it's Turkham or Butler. He preferred Butler. I personally preferred Butler. We're getting a lot of mixed reaction or mixed suggestions from the planning board. And then we also had a middle of the road one with Lisa, who said you'd have it on Butler as long as sometime we could have it on North Turkham. So it was still kind of out there. And I wanted to make sure that we had a final site plan. So I asked Ron for his opinion on this, and he was going to take it to the staff meeting, a Board of Trustees staff meeting. And after that discussion, the Board of Trustees went with the Butler Road, having it on Butler Road. So automatically I got a hold of Chris. He got it on there like I had it the next day. So Chris got it all together for me. And so the other comments I went over with John is he had a few issues with the utility plan as far as some specifics on it, which would be easily worked out because it's the same engineering company, McFarland Johnson, that did Lansing Meadows. So he'll know all the verbiage. They should know all the verbiage that John wants in there. Talking with Chris, that's not a problem. That's going to be an easy fix because that's kind of one of the items that will still need to be out there after we approve the site plan, like your landscaping plan, your lighting plan. So all I did was suggest to Natalie putting it into the conditions. So there's a condition you'll find in the resolution that you got tonight, where John would, I don't know the wording exactly, but where John had to approve all of the specifics of the utility plan. So that's not really that big a deal. Another item that John had said was that small sidewalk that was off of Graham Road, perpendicular off of Graham Road into the Chipotle parking lot. John didn't really want to be responsible for that. In taking it back to Chris, Chipotle didn't really want to be responsible for that either. It was within the village property, which is, village has quite a little bit of a chunk out there. It's not a right of way. We actually own it. So at first I thought about getting rid of it, but then we decided, talked with Natalie, and so we're gonna have to have some kind of agreement where the village will maintain what we own and Chipotle will maintain what they own.
So split.
Simple as that.
Ownership.
Yep.
I just saw in the New York Times, I came across a thing recently, I don't know, they call them desired paths.
Oh.
That's one of the things that, because this is where, don't put your sidewalks in until you see where people
Want to walk.
And I consider this important because then you know that people are gonna cut through.
Mhm.
So, okay, so split ownership is another condition?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be another condition. And like I said, there's various conditions in here. I tried to capture everything we could, and Natalie added a few in there that I had missed. So I think we've gotten everything in those, conditions. So we have A through M. But we'll go through those a little bit later. Chris did send a full-scale site plan,
Okay,
so it's easier to see. I reviewed it. It's the same one that you have in front of you, except that one has Graham Road West on it, as you requested.
Oh, good. Except, I know you told me it was fixed, but it's still missing.
The official
That
plan
one.
right there, it is corrected on that one, yeah.
On this side, the west was
I have
added.
a whole new set that has West on it, but there's no reason to send you double sets.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I see, all right, gotcha, okay. Sorry, I don't mean to be a stickler about that.
No, that was a good catch, because and on the EAF last week too, or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I noticed.
And that's
that.
fixed.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't obviously quite on the mark. So I looked at these plans, had the, I request, under the site notes, this is for my education, basically.
What page are you on?
The site plan,
Okay.
SP01. And up in the site notes, number 2, it was radii dimensions with 3 feet space of curb unless otherwise noted. But it was the next one. It says, all pavement markings and signage shall be in accordance with the manual on uniform traffic control devices for streets and highways, latest edition, and Hillsborough County Land Development Code. What is that?
I know that there is standards that New York State has.
That's a New York State
New York State
standard?
has it. I don't know about the Hillsborough, but
Well,
there's
that's
New
what
York
I'm
State
wondering.
standards that we have, that when we adopt something, it's almost like the uniform code. When we adopt it, then there's a standard we have to adopt.
I understand the uniform code, but what about the count? We're not in Hillsborough.
Maybe we need to figure out if Hills,
I mean,
is something in New York State.
what is that?
I mean, that,
And I didn't have time to look it up. I thought, why would that not say New York State Uniform Code or something?
It wouldn't be New York State uniform code. The signs and stuff wouldn't have anything to do there.
Okay. Well, it was just, I'm sorry. But I thought, what the heck?
Yeah, go ahead, Brendan.
Private answer.
Oh, does
Yeah.
Brett know?
Well, I don't know what Hillsborough is, but it seems like, Chris, is it possible that's left over from somebody else's job?
That's what I was wondering. Chris.
well, I wonder that too, because in the landscaping plan, the legend isn't, it's not correct. It's incorrect.
There's some questions in that, but,
In the
yeah,
landscaping plan, yeah.
yeah.
The legend's not correct. So I wonder too, if maybe.
So I think it's somewhere in Florida.
It is, that's what I saw too, is anything I saw in Hillsbury County was Florida.
Because I just don't want it there if it's not applicable, just in case. Because this is still under, the property is still under ownership of Water Sprite, right, LLC?
That's correct.
Okay. So I just want to be sure some of this stuff is correct. I guess we have.
Are there,
What do we want to do with that?
oh, so I asked
Well, I
Natalie
think we need to go through and look to
Yeah.
see if there's any other things that need to be corrected.
specifically on the site plan page, I think.
Yeah, that's the only one I'm really worried about, because that's the one we're supposed to.
Right, yep.
And I didn't notice it until today, so I thought, well,
Yeah, I
it's not gonna map, it's not gonna, I should have called Mike, maybe he said something, but.
I think it could easily be a condition to have that site note amended to either remove, I mean, obviously remove Hillsborough County and add in the correct reference, or just
Okay.
remove Hillsborough County.
Okay. Because I think the rest is probably okay. I couldn't, well, I mean, like, I don't know
I don't
about.
think it's gonna have an impact on the actual site.
The site plan itself.
No, I just don't want it to be here if it's not right.
Yeah.
Because in case it should hold us to something that we can't be held to.
That's all I have. Chris, anything that you wanted to add in before the board chats about? Anything they have for you?
Sorry, let me get back here. No, listen, I'm in North Carolina working on something, and I'm sorry I'm not there in person, but I'm also nursing a cold, so it's probably good. No, I mean, I think as I said a couple of weeks ago, there are without a doubt some details that still need to be worked on. The priority for me was just getting the site plan completed. I'd love to knock that building down in March, but I can't until I get the actual footprint and the site plan approved. I can't have plans drawn yet. So stormwater, landscaping, lighting, there are certainly components that I know there will be notes on and that we'll continue to work on, but I need to start drawing plans for the building, which is why my priority has been the site plan.
Yeah, and I think those other things are things that we've put on conditions of special permits for, follow-ups after the fact, but, okay, questions or comments from folks on the planning board?
Are we just addressing the site plan?
No, if you have questions on other stuff, whatever, anything.
Well, no, I think to Brains's point, grading and drainage is out of so
Yeah.
to speak. I'm counting on Brent and John to.
But yeah, if we want to go to,
Yeah, they're
the
just.
landscaping plan?
Yeah, the landscaping plan,
Which is a condition.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
yeah,
but.
but I just wanted, there's some, just sort of, the legend doesn't quite identify all of the trees on there correctly,
Correct.
or, I don't know what LS is. And since it was like Lisa Schleyline, I'm thinking, oh, what do you think that one is?
I know, so,
Wasn't.
but LS isn't in the legend.
And I'm trying to think of, is that a fairly large tree? What would begin with? Linden plane tree.
There's a few on here that don't
The Q,
align to the legend.
Yeah,
QR,
there's another one.
QR needs to be QP, that's a
Yes,
mistake.
QP, LS is missing, and I think those are the only two.
Yeah,
I did kind of look, I didn't know what a Bellia was, but that one, they seem to be appropriate in terms of size and stuff. Norway spruce is not an ideal one, but as we did discuss with Dave and Athena that time, it's not an ideal one, but it's fast growing and they do grow well here. And so everybody pretty much says, take what you can get, given some of our soil conditions. So I think, but the junipers and holly, I think might not survive deer, by the way. And I don't know how much the deer go over there much, but they'll come from anywhere and they'll come up that way. I know that. But they're not ideal. They'll eat those. But we'll see. But as long as they're maintained forever. And, but if the legend could be brought up to speed for the next, when we do address the landscape plan, that would be good.
so I was
Understood, yeah.
concerned,
My question on it is, the calculations.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Are the calculations on there, and I'll have to find out from Chris how they calculated it, but
It's,
I gave you in my zoning notes in the last, at the last meeting, and it's also included in the minutes. I calculated it as 25 units. They're calculated as 18 units.
yeah, I was going to say.
My opinion, I look at the 18 units and I look at the plan, and the plan looks relatively, I mean, it looks pretty even, looks like it's taken up, you know, the spaces are being occupied with either shrubs or trees, and on there, we still have to remember that the village has 4 or 5 trees on Graham Road West that are
Oh,
still.
that was the thing. Those?
They're not on here, right? That's not part of this plan, right? Those are our trees that are already there, so.
I understand that, but it'd be helpful to know where they
Yeah.
are.
So,
So
Two of them here?
there, those two little guys might.
Is it those?
Have they been replaced? You know, the dead ones that were there?
I don't think so yet.
But John Courtney was going to have those replaced. Did they replace them before winter hit?
I don't think they did. But I couldn't tell whether those
Yeah, I
were,
didn't even see those.
those little guys there were there, but I know there's more than two, aren't there?
yeah, there's more than 2.
Yeah, there's more than two.
There was like 3, right?
I
Was
thought so. So the third one I didn't see, but if we could just sort of identify where those are, not necessarily his plan, but we got to figure out kind of where they are. But you know, you can never have, as far as I'm concerned, too many trees. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I like it.
It looks like it's going to be attractive. I mean.
Yeah, it looks nice, and I think it also, you know, depending on how the calculation works out too, it doesn't look like they're just trying to, you know, well, we need another 8 trees, so we're just gonna wedge them all in here somewhere. Like,
No,
it
no.
looks like some thought was put into, like, how can we actually fit them out here in, you know, not just out in the open spaces, but around the building too, to meet the number and make it look nice, again, as opposed to just like, I know Jim always brings up here's a berm and here's 16 pine trees across it, and there you go, I mean.
Natalie would be
Hey,
happy.
Chris.
I am.
I know.
I like
What is your
them.
landscaping plan, Chris? Somebody that I can speak to?
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Make that connection. I want to figure out how they calculated everything.
Yeah.
It's not a hot topic right for tonight, but it is something we have to get done.
So you're going to go.
Other questions about anything on here? Obviously, there's a lighting plan, that's something that'll,
I've sent,
Mike will approve, you
I've
know.
sent notes back to Chris on that.
There's a utility plan that Mike mentioned, working with John Courtney on, and some things with McFarland, and obviously they know the area around here. Demolition plan, I don't, that'll be nice.
I've sent a note to Adam at McFarland that asking him to contact John Courtney about changes that need to be done to the.
Okay.
So then if we want to, we do have all the stuff in front of us tonight to finish off the special permit with all the conditions on there about the things that have to, you know, have to get fixed on there. We've got the updated EAF. We did part 1 last time, so we can do part 2 and part 3. And then we do have the seeker resolution in front of us, and we do have a special permit resolution in front of us. So I'm happy to move forward with it. I know that Chris is on a, you know, kind of on a tight time frame, and I, you know, I'll let other folks chime in too, but I do appreciate all the effort that he's put in between meetings with actually listening to our comments and following up on what he's supposed to follow up on with Mike or with whomever, because I know sometimes some people drag on and don't do that. So I'm happy to move forward with it, but I don't know if people have other thoughts or opinions.
Well, it feels a little pressure. I mean, we, you know, talked about some of these things back in June, but I feel comfortable as long as the conditions are in the resolution.
Oh, and what was the one, Natalie, that we wanted to add in there that we just talked about? Oh, about
Update
the site
section note
notes.
3 on the site plan for the appropriate jurisdictional reference.
For the appropriate,
Jurisdictional reference.
Okay. So we can,
you can see her first.
yeah, so for the, we can go to the EAF first.
Brett has a.
Oh, yeah, Brett, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure, these aren't like questions for Chris, but they're I think questions for maybe Mike and Natalie, if we wanted or think we need some additional conditions within the stormwater management note. I'm sorry, within the stormwater pollution prevention plan note, we most times have a post-construction practices maintenance agreement. And I'm not sure if that's appropriate in this case or not. That's one question.
What type, Brent, what type of maintenance? Because there's some that I can probably speak to, but I'm not, what are you referring to?
So once a year, there should be a routine inspection. And if there's found to be any kind of maintenance needed, like clot, you say there's debris built up in the outlet or sedimentation blocking the outlet or big bare spots of grass or something like that, that somebody's going to be responsible to once a year to make sure that all gets taken care of. And the reason for having a memorialized agreement is if by some chance that doesn't happen and Mike gives the designated person due notice, and then they still fail to do it, if Mike felt that it was appropriate, the village could do the work at your expense or at.
Are you referring to the piece where Chipotle is, or the piece next to it that's not done yet?
Specifically what's on the Chipotle. I mean, there's not much. It's a very minimal amount of.
Yeah. And just so, yeah. And just so you know, the way the deal is structured is I do have to maintain that. They're paying me a common area maintenance, but I do have to have those contracts in place, and I do have to maintain it.
Yeah. So.
And Brent, I haven't been requiring that maintenance agreement unless there was a project that had a full
SWIP
on it, like Lansing Meadows or the Beers subdivision, all that type of stuff. Then we would have a maintenance agreement at that point. It's a good point you're making, but I just haven't. I've been keeping it with the full SWIP following that.
Yeah, I think that sounds reasonable. Yeah. Okay. Another note, doesn't matter to me, but we did have a comment, or we had a discussion last meeting about making sure that the signs, there's some kind of a mock-up prior to final installation.
That is added at condition M. I put review and approval by village code officer, superintendent of public works, and village engineer of any signage placement along the North Trip Hammer corridor and Butler Road to confirm that the proposed sign and placement do not block the view of oncoming traffic.
Perfect. I missed that. Sorry.
I think it was a late ad. I don't know when you got it.
And then the last comment that I had, I should have brought it up last month, is that at some point in the process, and certainly not prior to the site plan approval, but there's a grease trap involved, and that should be vetted, or the design of that should be submitted to the Village of Cayuga Heights, probably directly to Bolton Point, and then Cayuga Heights would also have take a look at it, and some kind of provision for routine maintenance and cleaning.
Yeah, Brent, I have, during the building permit, I'll have a request for what that unit would look like. And as I do the fire inspection, the annual fire inspection for an assembly area, that's part of what's on my list for having invoices for cleaning out the grease trap and whatnot.
Sounds good. And since I got the floor, the only other comment I had, which you'll be talking about in a few minutes, is on the seeker review that Chris did provide I can't remember off the top of my head if it was drive-through customers per day or some kind of indication of how many cars, and that it seems unlikely that all of those would be at the same hour, and therefore it's likely that it's not going to trigger that 100 vehicles per hour threshold.
No.
We'll know pretty quickly. That's not happening. Not today's climate.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so that's all I had.
Thanks, Brent.
Thanks, Brent.
Sure.
So then we can go back to, EAF. We did request a couple changes at the last meeting, and I think that, those changes have all been captured on here.
The only change was for the address. That
Yep.
wasn't captured on here, but I'm gonna write it in, for the official document.
All right, we talked about that. It had Graham Road on there, but not what, the west. He wrote it in, so the signed copy that I have will have 11 Graham Road West on it.
Yes.
And it still does, it does show you it's the northwest corner. Yeah, because, you know, it is important, for safety issues, if nothing else, for identification and safety vehicles. How many places?
Nothing else.
Okay. Okay, so then we can go to part 2 of the EAF. So I will read off the 11 comments, and if anyone has a opinion or comment, let me know. 1, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No or small. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? No or small. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No or small. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No or small. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No or small. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No or small. Will the proposed action impact existing or public-private water supplies? No or small. Public or private wastewater treatment utilities? No or small. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of an important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No or small. Will the proposed action result in adverse change to natural resources, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna? No or small. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No or small. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No or small. What's up? Yeah. So we can go on to the seeker resolution. Hearing no comments on part 2. So this is the Village of Lansing Planning Board resolution for seeker review of special permit number 2026-4921, adopted on February 24th, 2026. This matter involves the special permit I mentioned earlier. I'll read that off. That was in the agenda. On February 9th, 2026 and February 24th, 2026, the Village of Lansing Planning Board, in performing the lead agency function for its independent and uncoordinated environmental review in accordance with Article 8 of seeker, 1, determined that the proposed action provided for herein is an unlisted action in accordance with seeker. 2, thoroughly reviewed the short EAF and any and all other documents prepared and submitted with respect to this proposed action and its environmental review. 3, completed its thorough analysis of the potential relevant areas of environmental concern to determine if the proposed action may have a significant adverse impact on the environment, including the criteria identified in 6 NYCRR section 617.7C, and 4, completed the short EAF. And now therefore be it resolved, we have 2 options. We can find a negative declaration or a positive declaration. I will entertain a motion to find, say, negative declaration. Motion by,
I move that this be a negative declaration of impact.
motion by Lisa, second by Lorraine, all in favor? Okay. And I will sign part 3. Thanks. Before we move on to the special permit, though, I don't think that we need to discuss anything else in the public hearing, so I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing.
Motion by Lisa, second by Jim. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so then everybody does have in front of them the, what's that? Oh, yeah, that comes before this doesn't. Thanks. They're on the back here. Okay, so I will read off the general conditions. And if you have any comments about them, let me know. One, it will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, or general welfare. Two, it will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the vicinity or neighborhood. Three, it will not impede the orderly development of the vicinity or neighborhood and is appropriate in appearance and in harmony with the existing or intended character of the vicinity or neighborhood. Four, the street system and off-street parking facilities can handle the expected traffic in a safe and efficient manner. Five, natural surface water drainage ways are not adversely affected. Six, water and sewage or waste disposal facilities are adequate. Seven, the general environmental quality of the proposal in terms of site planning, architectural design, and landscaping is compatible with the character of the neighborhood. Eight, lot area, access, parking, and loading facilities are sufficient for the proposed use. Nine, the requested use or facility conforms in all other respects to the applicable regulations of the district in which it is located. 10, the applicant has shown that steps will be taken where necessary to meet all performance standards and all other applicable general regulations. I will entertain a motion to say these requirements have been met.
My motion.
Motion by Lorraine,
Second.
second by Lisa. All in favor? Aye. Okay, now everyone has a special permit in front of them. This is the Village of Lansing Planning Board resolution for special permit number 2026-4921 adopted on February 24th, 2026. This matter involves consideration of special permit number 2026-4921 that I read off in the opening agenda. B, we did the seeker resolution for everything already. And C, on January 27th, 2026, February 9th, 2026, and February 24th, 2026, the Village of Lansing Planning Board opened and continued a public hearing regarding this proposed action, and therein thoroughly reviewed and analyzed, one, the materials and information presented by and on behalf of the applicant in support of this proposed action, including information and materials related to the environmental issues, if any, in which the board deemed necessary or appropriate for its review. Two, all other information and materials written for the board, including, if applicable, comments and recommendations, if any, provided by the Tompkins County Department of Planning in accordance with GML 239 LNM. And three, all issues raised during the public hearing and or otherwise raised in the course of the board's deliberation. Now, therefore, be it resolved as follows. So again, we have two options. We can grant special permits or we can deny the special permit. There are conditions on it. We've gone over most of them, but there are the normal soil and erosion control measures. There is the conditions about what has to happen before the building permits issued and approved. There's requirements for all the other permits, approvals, and consents that are needed. And then we have added in some extra ones. There is a Board of Zoning Appeals approval of 2 side yard setback variances, and that zoning board meeting is already set, right?
Yes.
Okay.
March 10th.
March 10th. Approval of an exterior lighting plan by the village code officer. Approval by the planning board of a tree planting plan before issuance of the building permit. Approval of John Courtney on specifics of the utility plan. Exploratory work on the sewer lines. Approval of the stormwater plan by the village engineer before the issuance of a building permit. Proposal for all the proposed sidewalls, curb cut, and sidewalk connections. That should be sidewalks. Should that be sidewalks or sidewalks?
Should it be sidewalk? Sidewalk. What are sidewalks?
That was my question, yeah.
Also for all proposed sidewalks.
Sidewalks, okay.
Okay.
Curb cut and sidewalk connections required to be installed and submitted for approval. Prior to the issuance of the final certificate of compliance, the developer shall offer for dedication to the Village of Lansing the sidewalk constructed along Butler Road. Prior to the issuance, a written agreement for maintenance for the sidewalk running along Graham Road West. Review and approval by the village code officer, superintendent of public works, and the village engineer about the signage placement. And then we also added N, which is to update the site notes on the site plan page, specifically note number 3, to make sure that the appropriate jurisdictional references are in there. Any other conditions?
Oh, so the L is the,
L is
split ownership.
Split ownership.
Yeah. Okay, if not, I will entertain a motion to grant and approve special permit number 2026-4921.
A motion to approve.
Motion by Lorraine. Second by Kevin, all in favor? Aye. Okay, there you go, Chris. Obviously, get in touch with Mike, and he will kind of guide you through. I think you have an idea of what needs to be updated. Obviously, still some things that are working on that are the conditions in the special permit, but get a hold of Mike and keep moving forward. Chris, all
Yeah,
next.
so I do want to thank everybody for their time. I know it's been a bit of a process, but I do plan on building a project that I think the community is really going to like, and I will continue to be as responsive as I possibly can. So thank you for the approval.
Chris, do you need, I'm going to update this resolution to reflect any changes in it. And do you need that sent over to you, the official document, after our clerk signs it, so that you have something to give Chipotle?
Yes, thank you. That's exactly right.
Do I have to sign that?
No,
If we can, but I would rather, I'm gonna have you sign it and note it
Okay.
before you
Yeah.
leave, because we're gonna make the changes to the actual notes.
Yeah, okay,
Before we
okay.
go with an official one, but the plan's not gonna change.
Okay.
anything.
Yeah, okay. Okay, next item on the agenda is to continue the discussion of village code changes and corrections. So unfortunately, with work and sickness and vacations, Lorraine and I didn't get a chance to meet to go over the kind of next steps for the next part of the review that we had talked about. We're going to try to get together sometime mid or late next week in the afternoon to go over it. And the plan is going to be to at least cursory go through and say, here's all, here's every use. Does every use have a definition? If it's missing, we'll flag that. Do any of the uses reference something in the code? Is that reference right? If it says, oh yeah, I reference 14560M, and it's, because I know there are some in there that reference the wrong letter or it references something that doesn't exist, we'll at least flag that. So we'll come up with the things that aren't accurate, and then we can at least say, we can bring that to the board and say, here's the things that are inaccurate, here's the missing definitions, here's the sections that are referring to something different. How do we want to tackle updating them all? A lot of the things we've talked about and we have definitions for already, we just have to set, if it's a definition that's missing, we have to settle on that. If it references something up in terms and it's really a definition, should we move that down to definitions? If it's a term that gets used over and over again or something down there, should it get moved up? But so I think we'll go through and we can do the initial, here's what's wrong, missing, or referenced incorrectly, and then
so you don't want to divvy up that.
I think it'll just be easier to, I think we can come up with a process and we can just follow it through, and I think it'll just be cleaner than trying to divvy it all up and having everybody come back with something that looks a little bit different. But if there are certain things that you want to make sure we don't miss, that we could potentially forget about, feel free to send us along.
So remind me again the difference between terms and definitions. Because we have, one of them was.
So so dwelling unit, right? If you mention dwelling unit a bunch of times, that's a term, something that gets reused. If you're gonna reference, if you have a definition that says you can do this here and this thing and this dwelling unit, well, what's a dwelling unit? That's more of a term that you're gonna see pop up in different uses. That's one example. I'm sure there's others in there
Some
too.
of them sort of had some legal implications, I thought.
So the term section really indicates, the language is very specific in the preamble there, that it's more so examples rather than definitions. Definitions, I would interpret that to mean terms that are used throughout the code, not necessarily, only within the various districts, that we need an understanding of how those applies throughout, let's say they're using it's not the subdivision code, but special permit and the districts and another place within the zoning code where all of those definitions be the same. The terms may just be used within the actual district uses, is kind of how I'm interpreting them. I don't know that there's a huge distinction.
No, I was going to
But
say.
either way, Lorraine and I are just gonna go and change anything. We'll come up with at least some
Because I
recommendations.
have to make sure that there's not a term and definition of the same.
Right,
word
yeah,
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 that are
yes.
conflicting.
right, yeah.
But we're not going to blend them.
No, we're gonna leave the definition section.
Okay,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the term section.
And the term
Okay.
section.
But if there's stuff that
Oh, some sort
is
of
in both, it
overlap.
probably shouldn't
I
be.
think like the dwelling units are in both and they should not be.
Yes,
right.
I was going to say, because then, yes, you go to one place, you say, oh, that's that.
Yeah.
And then you think you've covered it, and guess what? It's over there.
Yes.
Because
Right.
that has happened. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, you feel like such a jerk. It's like, oh my God. All right, just wanted to clarify,
So that's the plan. So at the next meeting, I don't know if people want.
to bring our code books.
Oh.
Hello.
No, what we'll try to do is we'll get something out, we'll discuss it at the next meeting, but we'll get something out for you to review before it, so that,
Tell us what to bring, if anything.
yeah.
When, yeah, if it makes sense.
But yeah, we'll, like I said, we should hopefully get together next week, later, and then we'll get something out as soon as we can for people to review, so we're not just looking at it for the first time together here at the next meeting.
Something that you need me to do, would like me to do to help out with.
Yeah, and if there are things if it's okay with everybody, if we do run, I think that we're pretty good on definitions, but if there's any that we run across that is missing a definition, maybe we'll ask Natalie to look into something before the meeting, so we have some examples. I think that we have examples of all the ones that we all realized were missing, but I know that some of them we discussed, we still had to maybe settle on what we wanted. I think Natalie provided a few different options for some.
I have Natalie's list of proposed definitions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my little folder already.
So if we do run across stuff, though, we'll reach out again, so that we're not waiting until the next meeting to say, hey, Mike, we need this. Yeah, well. Any other questions or comments about code?
There are
changes?
some code changes that are coming at the Board of Trustees level that impact what we've done here so far. So when we did the BTD HHS amendment to add multi-res into those districts, I did fail, or we all did fail, to think about density in that district and how it applies to multi-res. So those sections currently don't have density restrictions in them. That was brought to the attention of the Board of Trustees, and they discussed it at their business meeting, that they're going to carry over the density from high-density residential into HHS and BTD. So I'm working on an amendment to be delivered to the Board of Trustees for consideration at their meeting next Monday, to just copy over the high-density residential density requirements.
And put them into HHS and
In
BTD.
BTD.
Okay.
Yes. And then Mike Scott also noted that as we were looking at this, and I have not brought this to the attention of the Board of Trustees yet, that multi-res is allowed in CLT,
Yes.
also with no density restriction. So I'm not sure when that got added, predates me, but I don't know why it was added either.
I think it's potentially being, it might be potentially being added. I just went up.
No, it's
No,
added.
It's added.
It's added.
It's added. You're
And
right.
on the chart of uses, it indicates additional and special conditions, but then in the code, it just is regular, like special permit conditions. So we're well within I think we can really regulate it by the special condition, general conditions, but something to think about, is multi-res really necessary in commercial low traffic? Why was it added? I don't know. But something that has kind of been a blind spot in this code discussion.
Yeah,
We really haven't,
areas over here where it's a little bit thinner.
because the only thing that we changed was CMT.
It wasn't, yeah, I can look to see when it got changed. It was in the
Remember,
2000s. It is noted.
2000s, could be 25 years ago.
It could be. But something to think about. It seems out of place in general to be allowed there, but I don't remember it really being discussed in our code discussion as to why it was there or not there.
Multi-res. I gotta go back and look at that
Yeah.
and think about it.
Well, good catch, Mike. Thanks.
I'll look at it and find out when we discuss it, because I can narrow it down to what meeting it was.
So did we ever get a copy of what we think our chart of uses with all our changes on it? Did you ever?
Yeah,
this one?
yeah, I sent the link out a couple times. The link's the same every time. The link doesn't
Okay,
change. I can send it out again.
Did you printed it out?
That
didn't
was,
you?
it was joint.
Yes,
Yes,
it was
that
also
was
printed
it.
out for that.
Okay,
Yep, and it has not changed since then.
Okay,
Um,
Yours is just listed. It's not even like specifically noted as an addition.
How'd you find it?
Strange.
I have my own chart.
Oh.
Secret
Now the
chart.
football's over on Sunday night, you did some light reading? You know what I should do? Okay. Okay, there you go. Next item on the agenda is the trustee report. All
I
right,
was in a meeting,
that's right.
President's Day.
Oh, that's right, it was the first, yep, that's right. Okay, there you go.
And just a reminder, Kevin, you're up for March.
Yes, you
well, I
are.
was gonna say,
I pulled up the, again, I can send out the list again if people want, but I can,
I have it right.
Kevin's March and Jim's April.
oh, Jim's.
Yeah, would you like April and I'll take May?
Lisa's, oh, right, Lisa's a day until they off.
Um,
For me.
April.
Well, we can figure it out. Either way, this is, you know.
I'll talk to you.
Okay.
I'll talk to you after the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, next item on the agenda is other business. Lorraine?
Other business.
You know what, I just have a couple things I just want to mention and ask Mike about. So I noticed that the banners at Northwoods are gone. Did you talk to them? Did you?
Banners at Northwood?
The banners at Northwoods is gone. Thank God.
I do what I'm told.
I want to ask you, so I noticed, actually, I saw this on social media, I didn't, and it was already over, but over in the Trip Hammer parking lot, there's a new food truck over there called the Fish Fryer, which is a restaurant out of Syracuse. So is that a permanent, I see the truck is still there, is that a permanent thing?
They are.
Are they, is that who's moving into the spot? I see the,
He's the one that's building right at the old Ithaca Coffee.
oh, okay, because I see that there's something happening at the
He
coffee.
rained down his food truck. We've gone over to give him, he has an operating permit now, so he can open. He's gonna set that food truck up underneath the sign, up there, the one that has the clock and everything on it.
Well, they're there, they
He's
open
gonna set
Saturday.
that up and he can open up anytime he wants.
So they opened Saturday, but unfortunately, I saw after they closed at 3 o'clock, and I saw it at like 4, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Saturday's when they have the market.
Yeah, the farmer's
It's a good time
market,
to do it,
yeah. Okay, so good to know. So it maybe they're just gonna be open on Saturdays or whatever.
Well, I thought he was gonna be open during the week too.
Oh, I haven't seen anything like in Ithaca, like, usually 14850, Mark Ambinder will report on, eateries or somebody, but I've not seen anything. And the Trip Hammer Marketplace actually shared it on Instagram, and that's how I saw it. But I was like, I looked at the clock and I'm like, oh, it's 4 o'clock, shoot, because I would have gone over and checked it out. Okay, good. I just wondered. And then I wanted to ask you about the Lansing Grove 134 Graham. It's kind of a mess over there right now, and I know they had the fire and everything. What's their timeline for finishing all that
They're
construction?
not giving me a timeline, but they don't seem to need one. They keep moving along.
Oh my God, there's so many people over there working, but it's a little bit worrisome.
Worrisome as in how?
Hmm?
Worrisome as in how?
There's a lot of construction going on over there, and it doesn't look like they put up any safety. I don't know how many people are even living over there now. I mean, it's hard to tell. I don't know if those buildings are empty, the buildings that face Graham.
The buildings are empty over there, various ones are empty. They've actually redone a lot of the inside. The owner took me in to show me some of the rooms they've done inside. Most of it's cosmetic, flooring, painting. They put new kitchen cabinets in, look much better. The stairwells, which were atrocious, they resurfaced all of the ones that I saw those, and that's what they're going to do with the rest of the building. They're putting on new siding, new windows, new storm doors, French doors, not French, sliding doors. But I have been monitoring, when they didn't start out all that great. When they started doing the roofs, they did not protect the egress entrances. So they got slightly shut down for a little bit until they addressed the situation. When they didn't address it again, I said I'll be pulling the permit, and now they're just being addressed. So as they move on to the other buildings, they are going to set up, I have to verify that you're going to have protection over the entranceways before they start tearing up shingles.
Okay, well, I'll report to you if I see anything like,
As far as the fire goes,
yeah, the fire. So what about that building?
the fire was in building 4, in section 4A, which is closed down right now. No one's in that. I don't know the details. They are investigating how it was started. All I get was the fire department's report. From what I've learned, it started in the attic, but it's not official. They don't know what caused it at this point. That could take a while for them to figure out.
Yeah.
It does.
Well, that place was built, I was trying to think back. I mean, it had to be built in the late 60s, maybe, was it late 60s? I mean, it probably, it might have even been there before the Meadows was there. I don't know, so I mean, when's the last time the wiring in that whole place has been inspected,
If it's done right, it should be okay, but, yeah, but it hasn't maybe been maintained. Anything's gonna be better than,
Animals
Yeah.
in there, I was gonna say.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah,
Things happen, I mean,
Even for what it's worth, even in 1984, which is when I first came here, that place was a little bit down at the heels.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it always has been down at the heels. I will say, though, when I went by tonight, I mean, I knew they were putting in brand-new lights outside along the building, and the lights look really nice. Did you see them, Kevin?
Yeah, and the siding looks nice.
Yeah, the lights looked really nice. I mean, makes it look a little fancier, so, I mean, hopefully it'll look nice when it's all done, but it is a real mess over there. I saw some real questionable things the other day, because, I walk by there almost every day when the weather
it's
permits.
messy though, and it always looks way worse than it is.
And that parking lot is awful over there. I can't even imagine those guys like sludging through the mud trying to, get to.
That's not our problem.
I know, but.
The thing is, so is Graham Road West when you get to. the
Oh,
mall, so, I mean,
that's
you know.
out of control. I was up and down it today, and there's like a whole, I know we're moving out to the mall, but there's like holes, like huge holes, and have you seen that one? It looks like they must have patched across it, but now it kind of like, I don't know.
Like I said, way back when, there's still plenty of opportunity to take out an axler.
Well, I saw that guy that owns that mall up in, oh gosh, Northern, what's it called, up in Syracuse? The Northern Mall or whatever.
Yeah,
Northern Mall. Apparently, he's got this whole plan, he's gonna, redevelop the whole thing, right? But the road that goes through that mall goes to a BJ's, and people this time of year start complaining, and so they interviewed him on the Channel 9 News. And he said, he knows he's responsible for it, and as soon as the asphalt companies are open and spring comes, I'll fill them like I always do. But he was saying, BJ's, it's all the BJ's customers driving through here, and he said it'd be really nice if BJ's would partner with me, and, then we could take care of this. It just sounded so familiar. Anyway, well, thanks. I wondered if neighbors were complaining that, live down there on Graham across from the.
No, they're probably pleased as punch that something's happening. I would be pleased too, that's the problem with construction is, we have hours when they're supposed to be on and off, just so the neighbors do get some quiet. But it's miserable when it's going on, but it's just part of the deal.
Yeah, it'll definitely look better, yeah.
Anything else? Jim?
I don't have anything except I had a conversation earlier today with Mike on the Best Buy. I went into Best Buy, I was in the Best Buy the other night, and I asked one of the employees, up front, how long are you guys gonna be here? And basically the answer I got was for a while, because what he told me is what they were planning, or what they had in mind to do was actually gonna be downtown, not on the Strip. And that fell through, and they don't have any other plans, so they're gonna be over here for quite a while. Because I'd had the impression from conversations here that it was just a matter of weeks or months before they pulled out, so.
Well, the manager last year, and I think I told everybody this, the manager at Best Buy last year
Yeah.
told me their lease was up last March and they signed on for another year. This is last year. And they were intending to move downtown. And I think they were intending, hoping to move into where Goodwill went.
Oh.
So she didn't say that. She just said, you know, where Dick's and everything is. And I said, yeah. She goes, across the street. And at that time, Ollie's was moving out, right? And so I think maybe they were thinking of moving into that building where Ollie's was. But anyway, so they probably signed another year, yeah.
I don't know how reliable this got, but it didn't sound like they were pulling out in a month or two. It sounded like it,
We'll take it.
Anything else?
for what it's worth.
No, that's good.
On that, I don't really have anything other than agreeing with everybody that not only, West Graham is awful going down to BJ's, as is parts of the perimeter road.
And there's nothing that can be done about that? Word or,
There's a process.
that's what?
There's a process.
There is a process, been working at it for a long time, but you don't have a lot of leverage. But yeah, like I said, I just think we need signs that say you are now leaving village property, call the mall. No, we wouldn't do that, but
Private property, yeah.
yeah, you're now entering mall property because people think it's ours.
Yeah, and if 2 million people per year are driving on that road, like we found out.
Yeah, it's a whole process. If Mike has to cite them with a violation, they have 30 days to remedy. The village has taken a position that will give so many warnings before we prosecute. It's an expense, it's a time, there's usually, they do enough to get by and then
That's what
starts happening again.
We could have them put signs up saying, watch for potholes.
This time of year, active pothole zone, anyway. Anyway, Lisa.
Down by the medical center, it's great.
There's just some things that are hanging out there kind of that we haven't seen any movement on that we were kind of expecting, which was the Adelitas, and what else is there well, this is now underway. People know about it, and some people are enthusiastic and some aren't, so it just depends. I guess the only comment I get is, do we need another Mexican scene? I know. Other than that, that's what everybody's saying, because we now seem to, but whatever. So no, I don't think there was something, but I'll think of it for next time if it's that important.
Kevin?
I don't have anything.
Really?
I did notice, where the Papa John's is, there's a sign. It kind of reminded me of the downtown of like of Duthie, maybe a sign that, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but that's kind of a similar exit onto like
Oh, yeah, that is like hard.
they have a sign there that says that you can't block. So if we want to think about putting, I don't know.
He mentioned that they put one in over the summer when they were doing work and he didn't know the market improvement.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why he
Is
even
Neil
took it out.
that you're talking about, the guy
Yes.
right there?
I don't know why he took it out. I mean, it can't hurt.
He
to
has
have
it.
it.
But is there, I guess, oh, yes, because the thing is, you aren't even close to his driveway if you're going to turn left onto Trip Hammer here, and now you're still blocking, but,
Yeah, it's hard to know.
and then you realize, but I guess we could do it with marking in the highway or the road itself, but is there a possibility that he could move and have a shared entrance with Northeast
That was very
Pediatrics?
As part of my conversation with John, he's aware of the situation. He doesn't really have a remedy for it, but he's looking into it. Right now, he's not looking into much of anything with the budget going on.
Right, okay.
But it's,
I've been meaning to drive over there and sort of kind of take a look and see. I don't know how messy that would be, and Northeast Peds might not be happy about it, but, I mean, something does have to be said.
Probably wouldn't want the extra traffic coming through there. I mean, their parking lot's so packed already,
Well, they wouldn't be parking there, they would just,
No, but it's still like traffic coming through there.
I don't know, anything if you have the desire.
You know what, next time I'm at Wide Awake, I'm gonna take a really good look, because there have been times actually that I've gone the other way, because sometimes there's a lot of traffic coming up Third Street, and yeah, I think they have,
That one.
There's a sign.
but people don't break that rule.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
I don't know how they do it, but nobody,
Same thing with the fire station at Cuda. Heights. There's the, you know, the big.
Don't block
when
the
you
box,
turn
yeah,
down
that's-
Oh, yeah.
Forest Grove.
Yeah.
There's that, you know, don't park in the X kind of thing because the trucks can't come. I mean, I was just wondering if something like that could
But
be done.
with the Franklin Plaza, with them being right there on the corner.
I know.
But
Remember the time.
you've got, it's kind of messy. It's sort of like the driveway's like in the middle of the, you know, like not at the corner, but like.
We'll see what John comes up with. Also, I totally called you Yumila on autopilot because that's where she used to sit. So sorry, slow down.
Oh, no problem, I didn't hear it.
Oh, good. Well, never mind
I didn't
then.
hear it.
I did.
See, there, somebody else.
I had to look at anybody when he
I didn't hear it. No.
Brent, anything from you? Natalie?
Nope, I gave my 2 cents.
Few things. As you requested, I contacted that Jim Monroe from Dairy One.
What did you say?
Get the email.
I got it. Looks good.
Let him know something to point out that there were some new uses that were put into the B&T district, which he is unfortunately not part of at this point. I did say that there has been a discussion that the planning board possibly feels that you may be, I can't remember what wording I used, but in the wrong district to possibly move to B&T. Therefore, if this does happen, that your use that you want, low traffic food and beverage, would be an allowed use at that point. And he says that's great news. I'm glad to hear it.
Yay.
I hope it happens that way so that we can move this thing
I
ahead.
think that would be a good thing.
I do too.
Takes more time, doesn't it?
Yeah. If they bought the saucer machines for their staff.
I mean, it really does. If you look at those two chunks of property there, they're.
It doesn't make
out of
sense, right?
place,
Yeah, they are.
considering everything else on the strip.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and it doesn't make sense.
Yes, Brad.
So, what's going on at Dairy One?
I guess you missed all that. Yeah, ice cream.
They want to open up an ice cream window to sell their ice cream from their dairies, made from milk from their dairies.
From the laboratory?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
They
want
already
to
created the window and the shelf and
They
everything.
want a walk-up window.
We'll send you the letter, Brent, because you haven't seen it yet. either.
Pretty good.
It is, yeah.
It was.
Experimentally.
I know, but you know, those are some of the best.
Yeah, we'll send you the letter that we got from them when it was noticed that something was going on there, yeah.
When Lorraine noticed something was going on there.
I'm not surprised is the one that noticed
Hey,
it.
Mike, what's that?
Well, I was so excited about it. And then,
But it needs to have yes, so we were excited that they were going to do that, but then we realized it's not an allowed use in that district.
Because they're in high residential, right?
Because they're high
Into the
residential,
which
which
doesn't
make
make
sense. But, so add that to our list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that might be something here too, especially, this special permit's finished, let's see what comes up at the next meeting, but, or maybe if some, there isn't much on the next agenda, I guess you'll have a better idea when stuff gets closer. We could add this to talk about that there. I don't know how lengthy of a discussion it is, but we could at least start discussing it at the next meeting, if not finish it there. So if there's time, we can chat as it is closer before the agenda goes out for the next meeting. We'll see.
Okay.
Good.
Another item is, I'd say, a couple, 3 weeks ago, I had a couple that lives at 89 Graham Road come to me. They had been contacted by a couple of battery storage folks pretty persistently to not so much put in a personal battery system, but one that would be a utility battery system. The difference is it would have to go straight to the grid, go back onto the grid and whatnot. They wanted to know how they could get rid of these people and not have them call back. So I had a couple suggestions, but I think they were seeing whether the village was giving out any information, which we weren't. So, but they were really.
So 89, is that the one right at the corner?
is that across from the Meadows?
Driveway that goes back.
Yes.
The
So
ones that were doing it.
that's fine. What I'm kind of get up to is, it just so happens that 2 days ago, I was contacted by a solar company about putting in a half-acre BESS system within the village,
In the village.
a utility system, which would go back and feed substations.
And where did they propose to do that?
I'm not supposed to let that out
Oh.
just yet, but the reason I am bringing it up is, in a few meetings, they would like to come to the board to find out what our situation is with regulating BESS systems.
You don't have one yet.
We've had a few go through, but they were small enough to be classified as accessory. This one's not.
Right.
And I would rather not classify something like that as an accessory anymore.
No,
This is a larger project. Like I said, it's a half acre, which I don't, the unit will be half acre. They have certain setbacks they have on their own.
Yeah, but still.
So, this might be something that comes to you as an informal, just kind of seeing where they're at.
well, that was one of the things that was brought up at the
Yep.
joint meeting was the
So that's kind of why I'm bringing it up. It's something that we may have to,
fast forward a little bit, yeah, fast track.
maybe address it.
Yeah, sooner is later.
Not so much push through it. The town, like I said before, the town of Dryden is currently working on their own law for this, taking in consideration the New York State sample law, just like they did for solar, so we're in no hurry. I just wanted to let you know that there was interest out there.
Sorry to interrupt, Mike, I had attended this 2-hour workshop, the New York Planning Federation one, on the storage systems, and I have a PowerPoint document that would be really helpful, and I'd be happy to share it with everybody if you're interested. All right, I'll send it out to everybody.
Anything else?
Yeah, I don't think, yeah, the only ones, well, the one that was going to be at Transact was a little bigger, I think, than some of the others. But then but there are some issues.
That would have been a private also.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is to go back and.
This one runs directly to a substation.
Okay.
Directly to a substation.
They make noise, do they? They must, is it like a transformer noise that?
Electric humming, yeah, there's not,
Yes,
yeah, you're,
that electric humming is something that really bothers me personally. I mean, I can't even stand it when I'm walking. Sometimes you hear the humming up there. And so once we know where they're considering putting this, that would be
That's a question that you can ask.
yeah.
It may benefit us as much as it benefits them.
Sure.
Learn a little bit more about what the.
Yeah, we have to just see what they are proposing. That's why I asked where.
So is that something you'd be willing to listen to?
Oh, what, I
I said I
mean,
would speak to the.
we should listen to anything, I think, really.
Yeah.
There are a lot of agrivoltaic specialists at Cal's and at Cornell too, who we could ask and just, maybe we could ask for like I don't know, for them to come and give us a little talk about it. I don't know, just to understand, because they're really researching what to do with all of that in Cal's at Cornell.
Yeah, the big things are your fire protection, your water supply. And yes, it does require water because they don't necessarily douse the batteries with the water, but they do douse the area around it so it does not spread. So it's being ample water supply. Just a lot of parts.
Not as simple as it looks on the surface.
what else?
Nope, there's no free ride.
That's about it for right moment.
Okay. Any other parting thoughts that? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn at 8:09 PM.
We adjourn.
Motion by Lisa, second by Jim, all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everybody. See ya.